I was just telling Miss Amanda that when I was coming down, when we come down the hall, I said, normally I come out and I talk about weather, which obviously I enjoy, but for me, it's fun to actually talk about something else. So, if you guys are thinking about college and all of that, I'll tell you a little bit about my story and some things that I learned along the way. I'm from North Carolina, from Raleigh, actually, originally. Even though with television, people tend to move around a lot, and you'll find that a lot of people that work at the TV station are not from around here. But I went to high school in Greensboro, and when I was in 8th grade, are you guys a mix of 6, 7, 8 in here?
No, we're all 6.
You're all 6. When I was in 8th grade, I went to a new school, and new for me, and we had television as an elective. And this was back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. Nobody had television as an elective. This was before people had, I look at all of the computers in your room. There was none of that. We did have televisions in each room, which was pretty amazing for that day and age. But we had TV, and this is going to be great. You know, sit around, watch TV for class. That's going to be awesome. Well, it was nothing like that. We actually produced a TV show for homeroom, but it was a lot of work. Every morning before school, I had to write a 5-page script, and that, you know, that was just one class. And we used the newspaper to help us out a little bit, but still, it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. And the cool thing about it is, you know, at your age, you're still having to do a lot of what the teacher tells you, and your parents tell you, and your coaches tell you, and all that. Our teacher for this class could be gone, and it didn't even matter because he trained us how to do everything, and then he could leave and have a substitute. The substitute just kind of sat in the corner because the substitute didn't have any idea what we were doing. And we could run the whole show ourselves, and as 8th graders, we thought that was pretty cool. So when I was in high school, went with my parents whitewater rafting and fell in love with it. And I also, when I saw a brochure for skiing when I was about 8 or 9 years old, that. So I was fortunate that we ran around and did all kinds of fun things. And so I wanted to be a raft guide in the summer and a ski instructor in the winter. Dad said, yeah, I mean, that's fine, but you kind of have to think about what sort of lifestyle you'll have if you do that. Well, okay, well, I really liked that class that I took in 8th grade for television. So I felt like I was pretty good at reading and writing and really not that good at math. So, well, journalism will be perfect. So I tried to get into Carolina because they had a good journalism school. No way. I had decent grades. I did all kinds of extracurricular work. Nope, no way. So then I had to punt and figure out what I was going to do. So I went to a small girls' school for 2 years so that I could try again to go to Carolina. I had been there in high school for a week for this program that they had. It was really fun. It was journalism related. And so take 2, I try again. And I'm like, well, I have to apply somewhere else besides just Carolina. So University of South Carolina has a good journalism program, so I applied to that. And I was sitting in my guidance counselor's office. Again, this is before, you guys, I'm so old. This is before computers. So my guidance counselor had this wall of books that were all about colleges across the country. She said, well, okay, so you want a journalism school. Do you want, co-ed or, the girls' school or big or small or what part of the country? And I said, oh, I really love the mountains. I told you I like to ski and I like to whitewater raft. So it would be cool if it were in the mountains. And I'd like it to be a big school because my little girls' school was little. So she pulled out a few, and here are the pictures of the University of Colorado with these mountains on the front of the cover. I was like, oh yes, I'm going to apply there too, just in case. So letters come in, and first one in, Colorado, yes. Okay, good, well, I've got that, but that's kind of pie in the sky. I'm not really going to go there. I'm going to go to Carolina. Here comes Carolina, and again, no, we're not going to Carolina. Oh no, what am I going to do now? I did get in at the very last minute. I mean, it was 3 weeks before school started. And the University of South Carolina sent me a letter and said that I was accepted. Well, I'd already bought my plane ticket for Colorado at that point. So that was a very exciting adventure. And I'll tell you some more about that coming up. One of the cool things that I learned when I got to college, and you learn some of that when you're in middle school and high school too, but you've heard the term think outside the box. And okay, it's kind of an old term right now. But there is a lot to that in strategies for making your dreams come true. And when I was a freshman in college, at my little girls' school, we're sitting around, and these are some prissy girls, let me tell you, because I look like a prissy girl, but I really like to ride my mountain bike and get dirty, and I don't have a picture, but even still, at my really ancient age, I'm going to break something, but we go every summer to the mountains, and we ride downhill mountain bikes. So that means we wear a full face helmet, and we wear full body armor. We go downhill as fast as we can over the rocks. So fun. So anyway, so there are a lot of prissy girls in my class. I'm not really that much of a prissy girl, even though I just pretend to be one on TV. And so our teacher has a beaker of, you guys are going to giggle when I say this, of urine. Oh gosh. And she says, okay, this is day one. So you can tell if somebody has diabetes if they have too much sugar in their urine. So one way to test that is stick your finger in it and taste it. We're like, oh, what did she just do? And then she hands it to the first person in the row and says, here, you try it. And everybody's like, what just happened? Are you kidding me? So we kind of looked at it. She's like, yeah, go ahead. And then it was the first day in class. We didn't know what to do. We're like, and we sort of got away with passing it down the row, and we just kind of, nobody really did it. She didn't expect us to really. We found out later. So it comes all the way around. She said, this is I don't think I told you what class this was. This is biology. It's biology class. She said, one of the most important things about science is paying very close attention, or you'll miss something. She said, I stuck this finger in, and I licked that one. We're like, okay, you got us. So thinking outside the box and paying attention, that was a great lesson. It was one of my favorite lessons of all of my college. So she really got our attention. But that thinking outside the box and paying attention and doing things in a different way really was something that I ended up having to do. I didn't get into the school that I wanted to get into, so I had to decide what else I was going to do. And even when I got into Colorado, they did not let you into the journalism school. It was a school of about 20,000 students, and every semester they let in maybe 75 to 100 students. So it wasn't very many, so you had to have really good grades. And again, I was not mountain biking at that point, but I was skiing. So, I'm skiing and trying to do a little work and some skiing and a little work. And fortunately, my advisor was the dean of the journalism school, which means he was the head, he was the main boss of the journalism school. And I came in as a transfer student, and I said, okay, I really want to get in. He's like, okay, well, you're going to have to, these are the grades you're going to have to make. And again, I was really close. Really close to getting into Carolina, and here I am again, really close to getting into the journalism school, but I'm in my third year of college at this point, and I got to sign up for the classes. He said, go ahead and see if you can sign up for the classes. The system may or may not actually let you sign up for them, but it did. So I applied, my first semester, I didn't get in. Okay, I'll plug along. I took some more classes, applied again the next semester. You know the story. Didn't get in. We got to the end, and he said, goodness, you've taken, and I said, yeah, look, I've taken all the classes I need to graduate in journalism. All you need to do, you don't even have to let me in because I'm done. I've already gotten into the classes. I've taken all of them. He said, I can't believe the system let you do that. I was just lucky. I don't know how the computer wasn't paying attention to the fact that I was not signed up as a journalism student. I got all the classes in. He said, all right, sign away. There you are, journalism degree. I was like, my mom and dad, I'm really upset if I'm here at the end of 4 years and I have no degree because I've taken all the journalism classes. So that was a little unconventional. I recommend studying hard and doing everything that you're supposed to do and making fantastic grades, and it's not going to be a problem. But, you know, life is life, and we are humans, and so things are going to happen. There was one more little thing that I did that really, I would have been in so much trouble, and I would have felt really bad. And when you're in college, there's a period where you can change the classes that you've registered for. They call it drop and add. So you can add a class or drop a class for about 2 weeks. And the first class, our teacher wasn't there. And the second class, I wasn't feeling well. And the third class, it was really pretty vague, kind of like this. And this class, I knew how to do everything in this class already, because I was really lucky in high school. We had, when I was in Greensboro, we had a special school that had, it was a technical school, and one of the things they had was a television class, I could take another television class. And we learned how to use all the equipment, we learned how to edit, I knew how to do everything that we were going to do in this class in college, so I was not taking it that seriously. And so I come waltzing in, and it wasn't too late to add the class, so I wasn't really thinking anything of it. And I came in, I waltzed in, I sat down, she said, "You are out of here." Wait a minute, what are you talking about? It's not the end of drop. She says, "You've missed 2 classes. You've missed 2 classes, and you're out." And in college, they have the ability to say that. So I went to the dean of college, and I said, "You know, look, I'm almost done. I already know how to do all that. Why don't you talk to her?" And she eventually let me back into the class, but that was another really scary moment. So that's a good lesson. Don't be slack. Do what you're supposed to do. But we're all human, and if you somehow mess up, because you will, you have to think about how you're going to get yourself out of that mess. And that's again where this thinking outside of the box comes in. This is not a college story, but I'll tell you another story about thinking outside of the box that was really helpful once I got out of college. When you get out of school for journalism, I guess I got two more things I'll tell you real quick, and then hopefully we'll have a minute. You can ask me some questions if you want to. When you're in college, you do internships, and that's a wonderful thing to do. When you're all in college, you should do internships because it gives you an idea of what people's jobs are really like. You'll have people come and talk to you, and that's good. That gives you a little taste, but you don't really get a good feel for it unless you're actually there and start working on the job. So I did an internship when I was in college, and then out of college, I was trying to get a job, and it's hard to get a job in television, so it's hard to get into college. So I called up and I said, "Can I do an internship? And I'm not really associated with a college anymore, but I called up, can I please just work for free?" I was living at home with my mom and dad, which you do not want to have to do after you've graduated from college, but in some certain situations, depending on what you want to get into, if it's really hard to get a job, that was the best option for me. And I did live at home with mom and dad for 2 years after school, and we were all fine with it, but that's not exactly what you want to do. But I worked a lot of free hours at the TV station, and eventually they hired me as almost like a floor sweeper. But it was a little bit elevated from there. And there were several of us. There were 3 of us girls, and we were always trying to one-up each other. Oh, I got to write such and such stories. So we would get to write stories, but then we'd have to show them to the anchors, and they would probably rewrite them and fiddle with them. But at least we were trying to get some sort of experience. And one of them, our main anchor, did a cut-in, which means just like a 30-second clip on the air, and it was live once every hour, all during the day. But at 2 o'clock, he'd been there forever, so he could do whatever he wanted to do. And at 2 o'clock, he was always gone home to lunch because he lived close to the station. And at 2 o'clock, all the reporters were out of the building, always covering stories. There was no on-air person that was in the building at 2 o'clock. So one of these gals said, "I want to do the 2 o'clock cut-in." We laughed at her. Are you kidding? We're floor sweepers. We're on TV. Are you kidding? So the news director said, "Well," he's the boss. He said, "Well, come up there and practice a little bit and record it and bring it to me and let me see it." And she did. And he looked at it and he said, "Sure, you can do the 2 o'clock cut-in." "Are you kidding?" Well, 2 weeks later, she got a promotion, but that meant she moved to the morning show. So she was not there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon anymore. And I said, me. I wish I had thought of the idea, but I would have never thought of that idea. And so I rode on her coattails, and I said, me. And so I did it, and